All right, we're back with another podcast, full recording. We're doing a full episode of Behind the Desk. On this podcast, 3 students said to themselves, we should do an interview podcast. But on top of that, not just an interview podcast. We should have guests in the show that bring something special, like a little show and tell, but in podcast form, that lets people know about them, themselves, their experiences, their favorite things, and tie that all into a discussion where they get to know people a little bit better. I'm going to pass it on to these guys for Behind the Desk, episode 2.
On this episode of Behind the Desk, we are talking all about which countries are both beautiful and hard to spell, interviewing with a fever, and how weekends are best spent on a motorcycle. Just hang tight. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Behind the Desk. I'm Mikayla. With me as always is Sia.
Hello.
And Saanvi.
Hi.
Today we're going to tell you a little bit about Mr. Ullrich.
Why don't we start off with what he does as a teacher?
So, Mr. Ullrich, what grade do you teach?
I teach 8th grade.
Mr. Ullrich, I have you as a teacher, and you don't take the more traditional route in teaching and not do things like PowerPoint presentations. Why is that?
Because I think students learn best by kind of discovering things on their own versus having everything given to them.
Why have you decided to work at Herrick's Middle School?
Well, that's an interesting story. So one of my best friends was a teacher here, Mr. Cliston. He teaches in the high school. And I never even knew about Herrick's, even though I lived right down the street. And when I was doing my student teaching, Mr. Cliston offered to get me a spot here student teaching, and I absolutely loved it here.
What is the best thing that's happened in your whole career as a teacher?
I mean, it's not a one thing, but obviously the best thing has been the connections I made with students over the years. So I've had such amazing students, and some of those relationships have really changed my life.
And what about the worst thing?
The worst thing actually happens to me every single day, which is really sad. But every day when my alarm clock goes off, I have to wake up so early. That is by far the worst thing about teaching. Once I get past that, everything else is good.
What did you think of the school when you first entered it?
Well, when I first entered the school, the thing that kind of was the most impressive for me was the diversity. So when I went to middle and high school, I went to Garden City, and we had literally almost no diversity whatsoever. So it was really nice to be in a more diverse environment with a lot of really cool people. And that was one of the things about Garden City that really let me down. I had a lot of good friends outside of school, but a lot of my friends in school wasn't very diverse. So until I got to college, I didn't have some of the experiences that in Herrick's you get in middle and high school. So I thought that was really cool.
What was it like teaching your first students ever?
Well, my first lesson ever was actually at the middle school, and it was actually for my job. So my first lesson was my demonstration lesson that you do when you get interviewed. And I had 102 fever, and it was a delayed opening, and I was sweating like crazy because I took a whole bunch of Advil to get through the day, because you can't not show up for an interview, right? Because that looks really bad. And my boss just thought I was super nervous, but I was actually sick. And I got through my lesson, and it went well, and that's how I got hired here.
Oh, wow. So when you started teaching, you obviously had your room. So what was it like, and is it the same now?
Well, science teachers, we have a few different rooms. I've taught in, I think, just about every room from Science 1 to Science 7. And I've taught in all 3 buildings. I've been in the academy, in the high school, and the middle school. So they've all been different and had different pluses and minuses. But they're all pretty similar.
Have you ever eaten anything from the school cafeteria?
Well, I used to actually get school lunch every day for about 5 years. But that was before whole grains, and they used to actually have pretty good stuff. And then it's gotten a little more interesting over the years. So now I just bring my own lunch.
Okay. What's your favorite meal there?
It used to be just a grilled chicken wrap.
What type of food is your favorite, and why?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Right now, my favorite food would probably be Thai food, because it has a lot of different flavors, real depth. And I also because sometimes my stomach acts up and I can't eat really spicy stuff, but I feel like with Thai food, you can really tone it down. If you don't want it really spicy, you kind of pick. So that would be my main choice.
What do you think would elevate this? A new topping, different preparation style?
For Thai? Oh my God. I don't know. I haven't really had any bad Thai food, but the food in Thailand is so amazing. And I really like that they give you a lot of condiments and things to add to make it even better.
Okay, so I dread every lab that we do, but what is like by far the lab that you like do not like having your students do?
The one I hate the most. Well, that's a hard question because the only labs that I'm forced to do, generally, if I don't like a lab, I just won't do it. The only ones that I'm forced to do are the state labs. So some of those can be a little bit much sometimes. Like the one we're doing right now is it's not a bad lab, but I don't know how much my students get out of it, and we have to do it either way. So you'll have to let me know when we're done if it was a waste of time or not. But I kind of hate being forced to do things. So the state ones are kind of annoying because you're forced to do it.
I don't ever understand any state labs we do, but it's okay. It's okay. And what's your favorite lab that we did all year?
I like any of the hands-on, like the food ones are a lot of fun. The one we're going to do soon, the chocolate chip cookie one's a lot of fun.
What?
Yeah, that's a really good one. Any of the hands-on ones, though, are my favorite. The paper ones are kind of boring. I know we have to do some of them, but I really like the ones that involve us actually physically doing stuff. So like the
No.
Meteor Lab was a lot of fun this year. Anyone where we're actually having to do fun stuff.
I think I like the gizmos the most.
Gizmos, okay. That's not because you can find the answers somewhere or anything like that?
No, it's just because it's so enjoyable.
Okay, so lots
fun.
of gizmos. I'll remember that.
No, don't do that.
So, what is the most rewarding part of your job?
My most rewarding part of my job is definitely, like I said before, it's definitely the students. Getting to form those relationships and get to know you all every year. Like it always amazes me how awesome everyone is, and that's really what I do it for. It's really kind of what's special. Obviously, I like learning new science things, and by you all doing research, I learn things. But beyond just learning stuff, I really enjoy sharing knowledge and learning from everyone and getting different perspectives from other people. I think that's really important.
Is there something you changed to improve the learning experience of your students?
I mean, I think there's a lot of things that we could kind of improve. The last few years have been a little bit wacky with the new curriculum and trying to figure out how to do it. So I think once that gets a little more ironed out, we'll get a better sort of balance of what we can implement that's more fun and what works and what doesn't.
How do you relax after you get home? If you don't relax, what do you do in your meantime?
Relaxing when I get home during the week is pretty much just relaxing, watching TV, watching shows, a lot of YouTube. Nothing really too crazy. I don't have any during the week real hobbies that are really that exciting. On the weekend, I like to go out east, spend time with family. I really like motorcycles, so I like to ride and relax on the weekend doing that.
Since you watch so many TV shows, do you have any favorites?
Right now, I'm watching Attack on Titan. So I'm rewatching it because I missed the last episode. So I'm rewatching the entire series. If you've ever seen Attack on Titan, it's kind of gets confusing somewhere in there. So I'm rewatching that one right now. And I rewatched Demon Slayer before that.
Who's your favorite character in Attack on Titan?
Oof. Eren gets really annoying at some point. He was kind of my favorite in the beginning, but right now he's kind of annoying me. So what was the girl's name with the blonde hair who's got captured? Remember?
I've never watched the show.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna.
She was pretty cool. Annie, I think it was.
Annie Leonhardt.
Yeah, we'll go with Annie. She's got a cool name too, right? Leonhardt.
What's your least favorite character?
Right now, Aaron. He's
Oh.
really whiny and annoying.
Okay. Why do you like Annie so much? Like, what made her?
She's kind of quiet and laid back, but she's actually internally really strong. So, like, even though you would think she was really weak by the way she acted, she's actually like a really good fighter, really tough, really committed, really cares about her friends.
Do you have kids?
I do not yet. Mr. Height took care of that for both of us.
Ooh, nice. Mr. Ullrich, what products did you bring to show us?
Well, I was going back and forth. I was actually discussing it with Mr. Height, and I was going to bring in my camera, and then I saw my passport. And I chose this because even though I love photography and taking pictures, it's really all about traveling. So I really love to travel. And I've been lazy lately, and I haven't been bringing my camera with me on vacation. I've kind of just been using my iPhone, even though it takes horrible pictures. So I thought the passport made more sense.
What are some places you've been?
My last places, the last trip I went on was in Asia, and I went to 5 countries. I went to Vietnam, to Cambodia, Thailand, Japan, and the Philippines.
Would you recommend any of these countries for our audience and us to go?
Oh, definitely. They're all pretty amazing for different reasons. It's my second time to Japan. I love Japan. I love Japanese culture is really cool. The food's awesome. People are like the nicest people in the world. So I love Japan. I guess my second favorite would be Thailand. Thailand's really good because I told you it's like my favorite food. People are really friendly, really nice, very safe, very affordable. And then I guess the third one would be Vietnam.
Discussing the places you've been, what is like one country you've been in that part of that vacation like really stood out to you?
There were a few like really magical places, but in terms of not like scenery or any of that, just a really chill place was Vietnam. The beach is really, really nice and the people are super friendly. And it was just kind of some of those like relaxing beach days where I wasn't going to see a ton of stuff were really nice. And there's also this little town outside of, I was in Da Nang, Vietnam, and there's this little town called Hoi An, which is like a lantern town, which was super pretty. And that was about an hour away that I really, really liked.
Do you know how to spell Hoi An?
Hoian-ish.
Ish. Okay, so
Emphasis on ish.
we are going to do something a little bit special for this show. We're going to play 2 Truths and a Lie.
Okay.
Mikayla, go ahead.
Okay. So I used to hate ice cream. That's 1. 2, I rode a camel once. 3, I fell out of a car before.
Okay, okay. I think your lie is that you hated ice cream.
No.
Okay, yes.
You fell out of a car.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Ullrich, you have to think of like a 2 truths and a lie.
2 truths
Yeah,
and a lie. Sure, why not? Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. I had a pet hedgehog. My camera was a Nikon. And I've been teaching for 26 years.
I think it's... Because I know you had a pet hedgehog. You told me this already. Wait,
No pressure.
is your camera an iPhone?
Nope.
So that's your lie?
Nope. The camera was a Nikon, is true.
Okay, so then you haven't taught for 26 years?
Nope.
How many years did you teach for?
Less than that.
Oh. How many?
Oh, I don't know. 20?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Sia, where can you find us?
You can find us online on Twitter and Instagram with the username Herrick Studios. You can find this podcast on your favorite app by searching for Herrick Studios. If you would like to leave us a review, please do it on the Apple Podcast, and we might read it on the show.
That's going to end it for episode 2. Next time, we look forward to talking with our next teacher. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. This podcast is a production of Herrick Studios with Mr. Height in the Content Creation Foundation's 8th grade elective. The views and opinions expressed in these recordings do not necessarily reflect the views or position of Herrick School District.